Hey guys, welcome to the last part of my tutorial series presented by your favorite film YouTuber. Or at least, second favorite.
No.
Maybe top 10?
Sure. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, in this video I will show you how to create final images from your scans. If you missed the other two parts, you might want to catch up, because the scan is as important as the post-production. Honestly, I would have given up on film photography if I hadn't scanned and converted myself, because the big lab I have used so far has also made prints of my pictures. Look at the difference between the style I wanted and the style they give me. No matter how much I overexposed, they middled out the histogram. I have a whole shoebox full of pictures, half of them I have already thrown away. What I wanted is an extremely bright overexposed look like various artists on YouTube and Instagram. But how the hell do you get it? You will find out in this video, so stay tuned. But first, the most important question of this topic. Should you edit negatives? In general, everyone can do with their negatives what they want. There is no right or wrong here. However, it is important to note that any form of digitalization of negatives will result in processing. If you take your negatives to your trusted lab, there will be someone who will process your negatives. So there is no form of neutrality.
And then it'll pop up here for color corrections.
Oh wait, so you're helping it.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, so we can correct just to make sure that it's like true to life, even, balanced colors. Sometimes, for instance, if the scanner sees lots of pink in this image, it'll make the image more green to kind of compensate. So
Scanner is making decisions right now.
yes.
There is always brightness and white balance adjustments, period. Since in the heyday of film, certain devices were used for digitalization, such as Frontier and Noritsu scanners. So a certain standard look was defined through these scanners. But since we don't live in the 90s anymore and also the technology has evolved, you don't have to be so conservative anymore. Therefore, my opinion is that everyone can do with the negatives what they want, just as we deal with RAW files. Before we start, I just wanted to say there are of course many programs and methods how you convert negatives. However, I personally choose Negative Lab Pro because it achieves lab quality and beyond. I will now show you the workflow I have worked out over the years, and it's a little bit different from the tutorials you can find from other YouTubers. So let's start. To convert the images properly, we need to prepare them beforehand. First, we change the color profile from black and white back to color. The only reason for this is that in the next step we have to adjust the white balance at the edge. You can save the white balance as a preset so that the result remains the same for future rolls. Next, we need to straighten and crop. As I said in the last video, the film holder is important to avoid a lot of work. First, we need to straighten the image. So we go to the crop menu with the shortcut R and then use the straighten tool to straighten the image based on the film border. After that, just crop the image to your liking. You can now synchronize this to all your images or crop each image individually. In general, I would now apply sharpness, calibration, clarity and so on as a preset, but I will explain that later. First, you call the Negative Lab conversion menu. Here of course select digital camera as the source. Color model. I think Noritsu is the best because I want to have a relatively bright and flat image, but the different settings don't make so much difference. What makes a big difference is the presaturation. Here I personally like to use high because the colors are quickly washed out by overexposure. And now click Convert. Do not be shocked, the unprocessed image may look quite unappealing. but we of course change that now. From here on I make a difference to most workflows. Others would press, make a copy and convert the image to a TIFF. On the one hand, I don't like that because a 25 MB RAW image become a 125 MB TIFF, an increase of 500%. On the other hand, Negative Lab Pro with its settings offers a much more accurate and extensive tool to edit your images perfectly. Especially the exact white balance you will never get in Lightroom. I will show you what I mean by that in a moment. After the conversion, you will have a relatively neutral image in front of you. First, we set the white balance to Ultra Neutral to get a relatively good starting point and eliminate color casts. In the tone setting, you can pre-select which direction your image can go. I mostly use Lab Shadow Soft. Now here comes the part where it's a matter of taste how strong you like it. As a base, I would set the darks to 40 and the blacks to -40. So you get a picture that is even flatter than before. To counteract this, I would now add the contrast. 15 would be a good value in this case. If you want it to be a bit brighter, increase the brightness. Now the highlights would burn out, so set the lights to -6 to get back that information. So it's nice and bright, I would like it that way. Now I tell you the secret sauce. It is the white balance. Not everyone will like it, so be warned. As I said, it's up to you how you handle it. Your lab of trust would also do a white balance. That image in front of you looks kinda boring and I like my pictures warm and sunny. You could set the white balance to warm, but it changes from image to image and I want to make it more accurate. Now I go into the detailed settings. Here is the white balance of the shadows. There I turn up yellow to 15. This setting affects shadows and of course also darker objects and also grass. Next we go to the highs, but we should use this with care because that can affect the sky very quickly. Here I like the value 8 quite well. Looks quite good. The white balance is difficult to see and requires some practice. To make it easier to edit the images, I recommend setting a white background in Lightroom. Now this looks like Kodak Gold for me. Yet another secret. Add a little red to the highlights and shadows to give the whole image a special touch. But be careful, it is very easy to mix too much red into the picture. I really like the picture like this. Then just press apply and we are done in Negative Lab Pro. Now let's sharpen our image. Here I tried a little bit until I got the right results. In the end it turned out to be better to sharpen the whole image evenly than only single parts with a mask. Therefore I keep the amount at 100. Mask at 0 and radius always at 3. I only change the details depending on how much I want the image sharpened. And yes, you should do this because a proper lab scanner also sharpens. In Negative Lab Pro you have to take care that Negative Lab Pro does not change the sharpness, so sharpen, leave as set. For a nice touch, texture and clarity. Not absolutely necessary, but a small touch of both brings out a few more details. But my favorite setting is texture plus 20 and clarity plus 10. You can of course try here what you like best. That's usually all you have to do. Now I'll show you a few other examples and how I would edit them. Since only one image is not enough to show you exactly what happens in different situations, I show you 6 more images in fast forward. With instructions on the side you can follow step by step what I'm doing. In this case, Negative Lab Pro interprets the white balance incorrectly, so I reset it. I will show you how I put together a 6x7 medium format image from 2 individual images. You select the shots, go to photo merge and then press panorama. Here you have to make sure that auto settings and auto crop is turned off. Create stack and fill edges should also be turned off. Important is boundary roll. Select 100, that straightens most of your images. Select projection on cylindrical, then merge the whole thing. You will get a new file, which you can now edit normally. I think I gave you a good insight into how I edit my pictures. With a little bit of practice, you can now develop your own style. Play especially with the white balance, because this makes the biggest difference. For all you are thinking, I want to have this on my Fujifilm camera, I might have something for you. I am currently working on a Lightroom and Capture One preset that mimics my look exactly. But as you can imagine, it's really difficult, so I need a little bit of time, but here is a first insight. I don't know when I'll be done, but I will let you know. If you have any questions left, then feel free to ask them in the comments. Until next time guys, take care, bye!